So what happens when you're a concerned person about your community and you speak out lawfully about violence that has been sanctioned and that is allowed to kill innocent individuals? Let's see what happened here in Kentucky with the only black woman representative arrested during the Breonna Taylor protest. Now, listen to how this goes. This is how you can just listen and hear how sad and how sick this really is and who it targets. So, Kentucky's only black woman representative. It wasn't enough that a black woman was murdered, and I'm going to say that she didn't kill herself. It wasn't suicide. She was murdered in her own apartment. Kentucky's only black woman representative arrested. They had to go after another black woman. Arrested during a protest. Does that shock you? It doesn't shock me. So this is by Sean Newman. And so here she is right here. And so that's a photo of Kentucky State Representative Attica Scott. So Attica Scott, representative, the only black woman in Kentucky's House of Representatives, was released from jail on Friday morning after being arrested during the protest against this week's grand jury decision on the police killing Breonna Taylor. So she basically stood up and spoke out, and they went for her. And they knew who they were going for because they wanted to send a message to other black people that we control this. We are using the law against you. We're twisting everything and using the very law that is supposed to protect and serve citizens to harm citizens in the guise of our ideologies. That's what's going on. It's sanctioned violence, I'm telling you. And so Attica Scott, black woman, the only one now, you notice that they had to stress that she's the only one. In Kentucky's House of Representatives, they released her on Friday morning after being arrested during the protests against this week's grand jury decision on the police killing Breonna Taylor. Scott, who is 48 years old, called felony rioting charge levied against her ridiculous and absurd. They gave her a felony. But the shooters and the people who killed Breonna Taylor, because she's dead, not because of suicide, not because she ate something that was poisonous in it and she died of it, she was killed. None of them are facing these type of situations right here. So the lawmaker was arrested with a group of people who were accused by police of starting a fire. Accused at a Louisville public library. According to the Wave 3, Scott told the Courier-Journal that she was disgusted and offended by the accusation that she started a fire at the library, pointing it out that it's located in the district she represents. Why would she want to start a fire in the own district that she represents? So on Friday, Scott posted a video to her Instagram account, which documents the 8 minutes leading up to her arrest and shows her with a group of other people walking peacefully around the downtown area. In the footage, the group asked police where they should walk as they head towards the sanctuary at the local church. So they knew specifically who this woman was and how to go for her. They was trying to send a message. The law enforcement were trying to send a message so that they can let other people know that we control things here. So this is Representative Attica Scott, who was speaking during a news conference in Louisville, September the 25th, 2020. And notice Breonna Taylor's family is behind her. So they knew who they were arresting. Make no mistake about it. They went for this woman because they knew what she was trying to represent. This woman right here who was killed in a botched no-knock warrant in her own apartment. And so demonstrations against racial injustice and police brutality have taken place in Louisville this week following the grand jury's decision in Jefferson County, which opted not to charge any of the three officers involved in Breonna Taylor's death. Activists, celebrities, athletes, politicians, just people all over the world that have been paying attention to this case and more have spoken out against the decision, which placed no legal responsibility on the three officers. I believe it's Miles Cosgrove, Sergeant got Jonathan Mattingly, and former detective. So I believe DET is Detective Miles Cosgrove, Sergeant Jonathan Mattingly, and former Detective Brett Hankinson for Taylor's death. And so that's what the article is stating. And so she did not kill herself. She didn't eat something poison. They shot through. As the three officers were in at the scene when there was shooting in this woman's apartment that you see pictured here. Breonna Taylor. She was a medical emergency technician. No criminal history in her past. And so she is dead. Her family will not be able to see her, hug her, kiss her, have any family gatherings. She's a black woman, and she was not a troublemaker. She was doing what normal people do in their house, minding her own business, and they had a botched warrant, and that's what ended her life. So Hankinson, who was fired earlier in the summer, will be charged with 3 counts of first-degree wanton endangerment for allegedly firing bullets that risked injury to persons in adjacent apartments, according to Attorney General Daniel Cameron. So this is why people are upset, because this woman was killed. No charges include the killing of Breonna Taylor. So that is why people are upset. So Taylor, who's 26 years old, she was an EMT, which is an emergency medical technician, and aspiring nurse, was killed when the Louisville police officers burst into her apartment on March 13th while she slept, and they shot her 5 times. She didn't shoot herself. Police say the officers were executing a no-knock warrant when they used a battering ram to break into Taylor's home after midnight. Earlier this year, Scott wrote the legislation seeking to end no-knock warrants across the state and increase police accountability. The bill is titled Breonna's Law. So here you see here, this is Representative Attica Scott speaking out. Fellow Democratic representatives quickly denounced the local police's decision to arrest Scott on Thursday night. The words escape me right now. Tweeted State Representative Charles Booker. This is happening in Louisville as we speak. My Shiro riding partner and colleague in the State House, sponsor of Breonna's Law, was one of the people arrested. Booker, 36 years old, added that Scott's arrest was absolutely and deeply unbelievable. So Representative Scott is out, we're up, and we're not stopping. Our fight for justice only grows stronger. Good morning. And so this is them here. And it's really sad, and she's holding the sign. Because they went for this representative, this lawmaker, because they knew that she had a powerful platform and a voice to speak out on a wrongdoing and a wrongful killing. And so they went for her specifically to pretty much prove the point that they're trying to control people. It's freedom of speech. And so State Representative Josie Raymond juxtaposed Scott's detainment and the arrest of the 3 officers involved in Taylor's killing. Okay, so 2 people charged with the Class D felonies this week: Brett Hankinson, Representative Attica Scott. So here's the difference between the two. The lawmaker wrote Thursday night one fired his gun into Breonna Taylor's home, and one protested against her killing. One was out in 30 minutes, and one was kept at least overnight. And so, 2 people charged with Class D felonies this week: Brett Hankinson. Let's read this again. This is by State Representative Josie Raymond. So, this was Representative Attica Scott, who basically spoke out on behalf of Breonna Taylor's killing. So, one fired his gun into Breonna Taylor's home, and one protested against the killing. And so, one was out in 30 minutes, and one will be kept at least overnight. Okay, and so that's what happened during that time. So when Scott was released on Friday morning, she told the Courier-Journal that she planned to go back out and rejoin the ongoing protests later in the day. So we will be back out there later on today, Scott said. And so you can't stop the revolution. You can't stop the movement for justice, Breonna, for justice for Breonna Taylor. And so that's basically the article. So you can see what is at work here. I just want you to let that marinate in your mind, that you see what's going on here. How they went for this woman, and they knew who they was arresting. They knew who they were arresting. You notice they didn't pick out any protester. They picked out this Representative Attica Scott for a reason, because they saw that she was trying to represent this woman in the killing that she had wrongfully suffered, and then her family that are suffering. And so that's why they went for her. So I'm going to leave you with that. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for listening. It's good that this woman is out. Let's hope that they don't try to attack her more than what they've already done. So that's how you know how the law works for black folks that try to speak out and stand up for themselves. Thanks for listening.